Lights, camera, action.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of PT3600. This is where you can listen to 3,600 seconds of pure, unadulterated Primal Target. We talk about one topic for 1 hour. My name is Ryan A. E. Moore, but joining me is,
Ashton.
but also for the first time ever in the hot seat over there in the corner is,
This is Nate. What's up?
I don't know why, to me, like, as soon as I said over there in the corner, in my mind, I'm like, he's just in, like, some subdued corner, like, just talking with a microphone. Nate, welcome to the podcast, man. This is your first time. Have you ever done anything like this before?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to start off easy. It's
All
a
right,
topic
all
you're
right.
pretty good at talking about. This is some movies. We watch movies all the time. For those that don't know, Nate is my roommate, so he's definitely very good at finding really good movies because he has a weird rating system, and we'll talk about that later as it goes on. But I guess I won't start with this one. But you are Ashton. You'll start with this just so that we get a little bit of a. I'll give you some breathing room here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about our favorite movies of all time, and we'll each come up with one, and then we'll just keep doing this until we finish the hour. And Nate, not to intimidate you about it, we're gonna have Ashton go first, and then get you kind of used to how it goes. We'll go Ashton, me, and then you, and then we'll talk about those movies one at a time. You want to do it one at a time, or do you want to just throw them all out there, talk about it, and then move on to the next group?
We can do one at a time.
Okay. So, Ashton, what is one of your favorite? No particular order, by the way, because I don't think we can.
No.
We'd have time to like order these out. But what is one of your favorite movies of all time?
For all time, I gotta say, I have a lot of favorite movies. I guess one of my favorite horror movies that I guess I could remember was one of my first anyway, was Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is good.
And the
Beetlejuice is
reason I
good.
say that is because it's the first movie that actually scared me as a child, but it's actually kind of funny when you actually go back.
Yo,
and
no,
watch
I think it's
So,
considered a
it's-
comedy movie.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like a kid's
I
movie?
thought it was.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it scared the shit out of me
That's
as
funny.
a kid. Like, but it's actually really, really funny, and it's just kind of like a weird one of those. You know how they did like back in that time, where a lot of the movies were, the underworld, or they're in hell now. Like, they all went like kind of more like the dead like monster route, kind of like that movie Little Monsters. That's underworld for like bedtime like scary monsters.
I don't even know what Little Monsters
What?
is.
You haven't seen Little Monsters?
Is that the Nickelodeon show?
No.
No? Oh,
It's
okay.
a movie.
No, I don't know what it
Has
is.
Never
that
heard of
kid from Princess Bride, the kid that the grandpa was reading to?
Is that Frank Savage?
I don't know.
I don't know who
the
that is.
actor's name, but like that was like one of my favorite movies, I guess, because it's like one of those movies where you see it one way when you're a kid, and then you like go back and watch it, and it's like completely different.
Oh, okay. I just remember they that song that was in Beetlejuice was the one they used for the Bon Macy's or Bon Maché or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then I only know the Bonds version of it. See, this is the problem with that store is they changed their name so many damn times that I only know them as the Bon, and then I don't know what the rest of it. Maybe it was Bon Macy, Bon Maché. I don't know. It's a '90s store. It's like a department store, but like clothing and whatnot. But anyway, Beetlejuice is a good movie.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Not
Yeah,
too bad.
a lot of good actors in that.
Yeah.
Do you see Beetlejuice there, Nate?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
It's been
It's
yeah,
been a
a
while
while
for
for
me
me
too,
too.
but
Yeah.
it was I watched it again, like 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
I remember
Uh,
it being a very weird movie.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it is.
definitely is weird.
it is very different. Yeah, it's very unique. So, I liked it. It was kind of one of those quirky movies that kind of changes depending on.
Yeah, it was
age
very
you are.
it's like a PG-13
Yeah.
sort of. Well, now this is kind of like a PG
Nowadays, yeah.
thriller kind of. I wouldn't say
I don't know.
horror.
It's hard
not
to
really,
classify
yeah.
it because it's a lot of things.
Sort of
So,
spooky. It's like a spooky movie.
It's
not
something you watch
scary.
around Halloween for
Yeah.
sure, but it's not like something that typically is gonna scare.
Is it like Winona Ryder in that movie? Who's the? I don't. Now I don't even want to like list people because I think I've already thrown out like 2 people that I know. I think.
We gotta fact check you.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should fact check myself, but
Who's next?
I guess. Or do you feel prepared, or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead,
then?
Ryan.
Okay.
Okay.
Back to the Future is one
Okay.
of my favorite movies of all time, if not is my favorite movie of all time.
Very good
Just
movie.
because there's so much good that happened, like how it's all done. I just really like how Back to the Future is. I know there's like some weird things that people say that it's kind of weird how it's like kind of incesty sort of thing, but it's like but
Yeah.
like he's not the one doing anything. Like Marty is trying not to do. He's trying to get his parents back together. His mom's the one that's like acting weird about it. But anyway,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time. I can like put it on, and I in my mind can think of like the first at least like half an hour of that movie,
Oh, absolutely.
like scene by scene and how things work. I also really like Michael J. Fox, and obviously Marty is Michael J. Fox in this movie, so it's like it's so good.
Yeah, it's one of those. Now it's like a classic movie. So and there's 3 of them, and
Yeah.
the first one, you're right. Like I've even seen enough times where I can remember, like first 30 minutes or like the opening scene where they're looking inside, Doc's little house, and he has the automatic dog feeder for his
Yeah, and it
dog
just
Einstein.
like dumps it over and then into
It's
that
just a
bowl of like
mess.
other dog food.
It just looks like a pile of shit sitting in the
But
dog bowl.
because the thing about Back to the Future is like the more times you watch it, the more you look into like the details that are in the movie. Because obviously, when you go back and watch that scene, you can see that because how much food that just came out of that can and the fact that there's that big pile of slop on the floor means that Doc and Einstein haven't been there
Yeah.
in days.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
like
days.
yeah, there's a lot. It's kind of crazy how Back to the Future starts. There's like so much that isn't explained of how Doc got the plutonium and how long Doc's been gone or how Marty and Doc even know each other. It's just you just got to roll with it and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
So
It's weird because like you never know exactly who is after him for the plutonium, like where
the Libyans,
the Libyans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I never picked up
run,
on that part.
Marty!
But
The
man,
Libyans, yeah,
shooting at him with an AK and
yeah.
all that.
Sounds very racist.
It was the '80s, so it
it's-
was at the time.
It can't be helped now. So I will say the third movie I did not like that much.
Well,
so,
third movie's like 2.5. It's like Back to the Future 2.5
yeah.
because it was supposed to be part of 2,
I just didn't
and then
like
just
the
went
whole,
way too long, and then just made it a third movie.
I just didn't like the whole Western kind of thing going on. But
It's
usually I like Westerns, but I just wanted Back to the Future to kind of stay more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
interesting.
Back to the Future 3 is probably the weakest of them all. I like them all 3, so it's
Yeah.
whatever.
First one's the strongest. Second one's pretty decent too, though.
What about you, Nate? What do you think about Back to the Future?
Not a big fan of it. I've only seen them all once.
Oh,
Okay. You only see them
Ouch.
once.
Yep.
Okay. We
That's
might
my
have
sick
to-
time.
we might have to
Second
watch
one's the
it again.
best.
Second one is a pretty good solid
Really?
one. There's a lot. Well, they've already explained everything. So like the second one is just like, all right, you already know the bullshittery that happens with time travel. Here's now we're just gonna do it all in like so many different ways. So yeah, Back to the Future 2 was my favorite for a while,
interesting.
but I've seen the first one so many times that it's slowly become like my favorite one.
The second one was pretty good. That was the one with where Biff had his own like tower, right? And everything's,
Yes,
like
that
gone
is
to
the one.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
okay.
Biff goes back, gets the almanac, and he changes his.
Yeah, he gets
future.
super rich.
All right, Nate. What is a favorite movie of yours?
Gotta go with the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight's a good one.
That's a really good
Yep.
one.
What is it about the Dark Knight that you absolutely adore about it?
It's got the, in my opinion, best portrayal of Bruce Wayne.
Okay. Yeah.
Very grounded.
Yeah.
Lots of style.
Do you like the more realism of Batman?
I do. I do think it is the Ben Affleck portrayal. I think is a lot more badass
Okay.
than what we got in the Dark Knight. But yeah, it was really nice to see it grounded. I love the Hong Kong scene in Dark Knight where he
Oh yeah, yeah. where he like shoots it and then he like takes off with the guy and flies
Yep,
off.
he has to extract him out of that
Yeah,
airplane.
it's like so smooth that it just like that plane. Now, is that just a regular commercial airline that just picks him up, or is that like a private?
It's
plane?
I think it's like a private
okay.
thing that they had pull him out.
I totally forgot about that.
Like the lightweight bat suit that he's wearing in that scene.
So what about Heath Ledger? What do you think
Heath
about him?
Ledger's the best.
He's great. Keep showing your toes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't know what to expect from him.
So when can you recite the first time you saw that movie in theaters, or how many times have you seen Dark Knight?
I want to say multiple.
Okay.
I don't have an exact number.
Yeah, enough.
I don't.
More than 5. Would you say more than 5?
Probably not fully.
Okay, all right.
Maybe about 4 or 5 times, beginning to end.
It's still
Still
pretty
a
good,
lot,
solid amount.
but
yeah.
you know, it's on TV all the time, so you'll see
Yeah.
bits. and
Catch it on
scenes from
TNT and like what?
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep. The 3-hour commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
Long version.
Yeah.
But
you,
Heath
like-
Ledger is definitely he's a scary Joker, especially the first time you see him.
Oh yeah.
Mm. So how do you? So Dark Knight is, I'm assuming, your favorite of the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Yep. Surprisingly, I think actually Dark Knight Rises is actually pretty close.
Okay. So that's a close. It's probably to me like Back to the Future 2, where it's a very close second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Dark Knight Rises has some corny stuff to it, like all the fighting they do in the daytime with the prisoners and stuff like that.
So what sets the Dark Knight just above Rises?
The Joker.
Oh, okay. The main villain.
Definitely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Joker better than Bane.
And I think just I don't know, really neither one of them has like maybe hardcore action scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he's not
Mhm.
really, the action is so much more grounded in the Dark Knight series.
Yeah, it's definitely I wouldn't say it's Detective Batman, but he's pretty close to not as actiony Batman,
Right.
which starts to lean into more to Detective Batman, but it
And
wasn't really that. I felt like the Christopher Nolan trilogy was more of like about the villains along with Batman kind of thing. Am I wrong about that? Like
Yeah, you can say
Scarecrow
that.
was in the first one, right? Like he was the main,
Yep.
and then
Oh,
Joker and then
Scarecrow.
Bane, which are
Right.
3 really strong villains
Mhm.
to be put in those. It was definitely a different take, like on
Yeah.
the Batman series of being more real. Yeah,
Especially compared to what we have now,
yeah,
which is much more comic booky.
yeah. Oh man, I just really hope DC kind of reins it in, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else about it?
No,
Yeah.
but then you got to point out the tumbler scene.
Okay.
When they're in the tunnel on the freeway.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, the one at the end or the one when he's chasing Joker?
When he's chasing Joker.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's a good scene.
Yep.
That's definitely a good scene. Where he has to when he's sitting in the bat. Yeah. No, wait. Yeah, that's the tumbler, right? The big
Yep.
giant thing,
Mhm.
and then it shoots into the bat pod.
The little motorcycle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's badass. We don't know that's going to happen ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah. That was definitely a good surprise. All right. What about you? What do you, Ashton? What you got? Another one for us?
Yeah, Step Brothers.
That's a good one.
Yep. Will Ferrell. And I always forget the other guy's name. He's also in like Walk Hard, and like a couple other things that I like. I don't know. The big-headed guy with the curly hair.
Okay.
I forget his name. We're gonna have to look it up.
I don't know his name either. But I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, that movie is just awesome. It's just full of comedy. It's just about these 2 guys that they're middle-aged. They're in like their 40s.
John C. Reilly.
There we go.
He's also in Wreck-It Ralph. If you didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is he the
Anyway.
main character in Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah. He's
Oh, wow.
he's Ralph.
Oh, cool. But their parents are getting married, and
Yes.
they're not.
And they're in like
They're
their
not related at all.
40s.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
in their 40s, and
I
they
don't
both
even
live
have
at home.
jobs, do they?
No,
they don't
not
have
at the
jobs.
time. No.
Nope. And they're just like complete nerds too, and they end up hating each other. They're always fighting, and they're always just all this shit. And they end up finally having to grow up at the end, but they're still so fucking immature. It's great. I don't know. It's just, you think of like 2 brothers like in their teens fighting all the time, and that's basically the movie with older guys. It's just awesome.
Yeah. It is a really funny movie. Just there's a lot of one-liners. There's the one
Teabag your drum set.
that one's pretty funny. I didn't expect to see Will Ferrell's the one that
Yep.
flaps his balls out. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty bad. Oh man, the one scene where they're trying to prevent someone from moving into their house. And so John C. Reilly dresses up as a Ku Klux Klan member, and Will Ferrell dresses up as a Nazi, and they're about to like bring in this black couple into the house, and they're like, "Morning, neighbor. Hi, how's it going?" And then they're like looking around. That is pretty much the summary of where the comedy goes. No, it's in the trailer, I think.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And then
and then he hits him with the shovel, and he's like, "What are you doing? I'm burying you. I'm burying you alive. No one's gonna look for you." Oh man.
They end up like hitting each other, like having a big ass fight in the front yard.
Oh yeah.
One of them gets hit in the head with like a driver golf club, and like the other one is like I don't know if it's a bat or what.
I can't remember.
It's
been a while since I've seen that movie, but I remember those two scenes specifically.
Fucking Catalina wine mixer.
All I remember is the interview scene being pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. Yeah.
Did you just fart? Just like ketchup and onion. You know, those suits are starting to seem really fucked up now.
Oh yeah, they're dressed in like tuxedos, for their interviews. Oh my god.
Barrel laughs that movie, so
yeah,
definitely up there.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm was not prepared to go for another one.
You were not?
No, I was more of trying to like keep the podcast going. I was trying to think of a few.
It's hard to pick.
10 Cloverfield Lane popped into my head because I just saw it recently.
I have not seen that.
And it's okay. I guess I won't go into too much spoilers then. But I totally forgot how really freaking good that movie is. I would have said Cloverfield because I really love Cloverfield. But it's not everyone's cup of tea because it's that found footage thing, and that immediately drops a lot of people off.
Controversial choice.
Yeah, so I would have, if I was to show someone into the Cloverfield like universe, I'd probably show 10 Cloverfield Lane because the acting from, even though it's like 3 people, I think there's 4 people in that whole cast. There's probably 6 people total. Right. There's 6 people probably total because of the voice, the phone call, the boyfriend that calls. And then the main girl, the villain. I'm not trying to go into too much detail. Like
it's too late.
Yeah. The younger guy, the lady outside, and the radio girl, the girl that's on the radio. So there's literally like 6 actors that are probably listed in that whole movie.
That's a cheap film. Not very many set locations.
Yeah, it's like one set and outside. So I think I definitely think that it's a really good addition to that universe.
Not much of a universe.
Yeah, of the like 3 movies that have come out for it, but like it made me want more Cloverfield, and I feel like if a movie does that, then that leaves me if it leaves me wanting more, and they never do anything with it, then I'm totally fine with it. Like I don't need another film as long as it was like, oh man, that was so good. I want to.
You got it from Netflix.
Yeah. I haven't even seen the full version of that. Like I made it about halfway through and fell asleep.
It's not the best.
Yeah, but I've heard it's like quintessential to connecting everything. Am I wrong about that?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right. I thought there was was something in there that was supposed to like connect to the universe.
There was one little snippet.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've heard that it's just a little snippet.
Literally, yeah.
But yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'll throw that on the list. So
cool.
What about you, Nate?
I'm gonna go with another sequel.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, Twin Towers.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. So what puts this? Well, before we get into that, why do you like it? Why is it? Why is it?
Got a great battle scene.
Okay.
Great build up. It's kind of slow, all kind of through the beginning, just rising action.
Yeah.
And then I feel like just like the peak of that film at the end with the orcs attacking is great.
Now what?
I love the trees.
Yeah, the trees.
So when the other day Josh was quoting the trees,
the
you were the encyclopedia. Yep. Yeah, Josh knows a lot of
he's
that origin.
Yeah, he's very in tune with the Tolkien lore.
So what makes that one the best?
I think it's just the best balance of story and action.
Okay, yeah,
I feel like the third movie is it's kind of all action all the way through, even though it is ultimately a bigger battle scene
Mm-hmm.
than the second film. But
They're going for more of the blockbuster feel that time
yeah,
around.
brought in a whole lot more with they had like the spirits fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, for me, I've only seen the Twin Towers, I think twice, and I haven't seen it recently, and I need to go back and watch it because we had the full trilogy at my house.
The extended version too.
I don't know.
Oh, because my dad had the.
Was
extended
it
version.
this thick? Was it that thick, or was it just?
Yeah,
a
they're
movie?
all three in a bundle. Like
Oh, they. Oh, okay. They
so
weren't
it
like
was-
in their
it was like in a
individual.
book. It was like in that little book style. You know how you get the.
So it wasn't like a regular DVD, right? It didn't come in like just a regular like.
No,
You picked.
no.
Okay, so yeah,
It
you
was
had
like
the,
three
you
separate
had
things
the
in like a book.
extended.
Okay.
You had the extended one
Um,
because the extended one is like 3 DVDs.
yeah, it was
Because there's extras and then the 2 actual ones.
yeah.
Okay,
'cause
so then
we
you
had
had the
the
extended
we had the trilogy and then like some other stuff. I never looked at those, but
They're boring.
okay. Well,
Like behind the scenes stuff.
second one I've only seen like
They're
twice,
cool, it's
but
just-
the
yeah.
first and the third one I ended up seeing a lot. Mainly because the second one of my fucking idiot brothers, they
That's
would
when you
always
scratch the disc.
grab the disc with their fucking palm. They just children with discs.
How do you?
Like, yeah, they
How do you
like grab
pick
it
it up with
and
your
then they
palm?
like try and clean it off with their fucking shirt, which
Oh,
don't
okay,
do.
okay.
Don't do that. Anybody listening, you never clean a disc with your shirt. You get a microfiber cloth and you call it good.
Yeah.
And just a correction on my part, it's called the Two Towers, not the Twin Towers.
Yeah, because Twin Towers isn't that like 9/11?
yeah, I started thinking
My
about
bad.
that. Too
Two
soon.
towers, not twin towers. My bad.
Yep.
But yeah,
Never forget.
That's the one I need to go and see again for sure.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, Lord of the Rings to me is like, it's.
Oh, that's right. You were saying you don't like that kind of medieval
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
it's I like the idea of it, but like when I sit down and then I watch the extended version of the Fellowship of the Ring and all I'm seeing is like cinematic shots,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there going, oh my god.
The first one is like
move
really
on.
slow.
Yeah,
Move
it's more
on.
introducing you into the world though.
Yeah.
That's-
I get that. And
like-
I've seen all 3 of them. I've seen all 3 of them. I've even seen the Hobbit movies, and
that was pretty decent. Yeah.
like, but it's just for some reason I actually don't mind the Hobbit. I know a lot of people that like the Lord of the Rings. Like,
You like the faster pace of the Hobbit.
yeah, I'm more of like, all right, let's get going. Let's keep moving. But and Peter Jackson, he's a great director. And like I totally get his artistic look at how he was making those movies and why those movies are so great. It's just it's the same with video games too. I can't get too into it.
So I haven't played The Witcher 3, huh?
I have not played The Witcher 3 yet. And I had that in saran wrap for like a year and a half.
Missing out, Ryan.
I know. And I have
Best game of all time right
complete
there.
I have the complete edition of it too. But yeah, no. I think they're really cool. Like the idea of it is really cool. And I love hearing about how people really like it. It's just I never can get into it. It's just weird.
So I know we've talked about this before, but you're not just medieval type stuff. Just doesn't interest you. Is there any reason why?
A Knight's Tale's cool. do you remember that movie?
No.
Heath Ledger's in that.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it's like a comedy, like satire of it.
the only thing I remember Heath Ledger from is like The Patriot with was it Mel Gibson?
Damn, that's so
Oh,
far
wow,
back.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, all right.
Great movie, very gory.
Wait, what did you ask? What did you ask me?
You don't really like the. Why don't you really like the medieval era?
I don't know. I just never got. Like I said, I like the idea of it. It's just to me, there's not so much stuff happening, and like, I don't know. I may have had like bad experiences with it.
I, mean, I
just
prefer
have never.
sci-fi too.
Yeah, like sci-fi, I'm totally into. Like I love the Star Wars films, which we'll get into. But like there's, I guess I like the idea of. I was talking with Kai about this of where sci-fi is more of the looking forward into what could be, and medieval is trying to go back into creating what
yeah.
was and what may have kind of thing. And like people that are trying fantasy like tend to like to escape from reality, while maybe people that look towards sci-fi like that as well, but more towards like maybe pushing it futuristic wise kind of thing. Like it may happen. Like there may be like some, alien species out there, while obviously there aren't dragons around anymore,
Right.
kind of thing.
Which
So
makes it more interesting.
yeah, I don't know. That's just
I think
it could
both
go
are
either
more
way.
interesting than present.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's the debate of like some people could love Fallout and hate Skyrim, or
like 'em both.
I don't like either one of those games.
Well,
I don't like
same
really
with me.
any
Same.
Bethesda games.
It's kind of like with me though. But when they announced a star or like a space sci-fi version of those two to be like their third pillar of their RPGs, I'm totally in for it. Like I'm waiting for that. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like I feel like
Isn't that basically like Mass Effect?
yeah,
love
but
Mass
they
Effect.
didn't make that. The EA made Mass Effect. BioWare made Mass Effect. But yeah, I don't know. It just never really. I think it's cool. Like I've tried watching Game of Thrones after I canceled my HBO subscription because it's too damn
No.
expensive.
Yeah, you
That
don't
was a
keep it
long time
year-round.
ago. Yeah, it's like after I did that, and I was only in season 4.5 maybe,
Ooh, you're the
and
Dark Ages.
and after I watched that, I was kind of into it, and then after I unsubscribed, I was like,
Don't miss
yeah,
that.
I don't feel like I'm missing a lot. Like I think it's really cool that it became this cultural phenomenon, but it's kind of like The Walking Dead to me. It's like it's great. Like I love how people love it, but it's not my
You
cup of
probably
tea.
haven't went far enough though, where you start to get some of those like character payoffs.
Oh yeah, I
But-
feel like there was also that. It was like there were times where you ask me anything, I only know that Peter Dinklage is in it. He's a character. Don't know what his fucking name is. Like
Tyrion?
Tyrion.
Yep,
Yeah.
Tyrion Lannister.
Starts with a T. Yeah, Lannisters. There's like a whole tree of that, and then there's like a whole tree of this other family that I can never
Yeah, there's,
remember.
like several families.
And then there's
Starks
there's Khaleesi. I know her,
Yep.
and then she's the Queen of Dragons in this or whatever. And then Jon Snow, and then the girl
bastard.
the girl that
I can
John went and gave head to, and then that's about it. It's like I can't remember a lot of what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and that little shithead of a kid was in that.
Joffrey?
Oh, yeah.
Joffrey, or whatever. His
You
name.
know what happens to him?
Yeah, he dies.
Okay, cool.
Like he gets choked out.
Spoiler alert.
Nah, it's season 4. Like, come on, whatever.
That was years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
No, I've tried. It's just not something I'll like try to seek out. Like if it's
Man.
on, I'm not gonna like turn it off. Like I'll watch the rest of it.
See,
Ooh,
for
Make
me
me want to pick
personally,
Blade Runner.
oh, Blade Runner.
Hold on, we haven't gotten there yet.
For me personally, I love sci-fi and I love medieval. It's just like I like everything, but present time stuff doesn't really interest me as much
Smells
as
boring.
like because with like
How far is present time?
present time like
2018.
Is that like
Yeah,
50
2018 is
50
terrible.
years back, 50 years forward,
It's only
Yeah.
2018.
or like 2018
So,
is
like,
present time?
something more like modern, like I guess the type of like genres I guess I'm looking at. I don't like if I were to look at like this is like a regular ass fucking movie. I don't know. I don't
Like cop stuff bores me. That's present stuff.
Cop
Like
stuff,
all the
okay,
cop
yeah.
shows on
yeah,
CBS.
like bunch of cop shows, it's just like
Specifically CBS.
Specifically
just kind of like or like the Hallmark Channel. Anything on the fucking Hallmark Channel sucks in my
I
opinion.
mean, they're
Oh, yeah.
they're Hallmark
Those are
made for
probably not
TV
for you,
movies.
Ashton.
Yeah, I think their demographic goes a little bit different, but yeah,
My
sure.
mom loves those.
My
Like-
mom, well, we have white moms, so
Yes,
there you go.
I can get down with like some sitcoms, that's cool and everything, but like when I'm talking like shows and movies that I'm really into, the genres are either going to be like medieval or sci-fi. A lot of the stuff that I like is not from current time.
Do you consider superhero a genre?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the time period for that though?
Time period?
Usually
I don't-
present.
I don't give a shit what
Sometimes.
the time period is for that.
But like Captain America wasn't,
True.
and Captain Marvel isn't.
so it's
Also true.
it's just one of those things. Like, I like them both. I just don't like the vanilla. Like, I don't want to see some. I don't want to go see a movie of something or a show of something that I can literally go live if I
Right.
wanted to.
Yeah.
So what about the horror flicks though?
Horror flicks, that shit is not gonna happen. So
But it's usually set in pretty current events.
Yeah, but
I'm just
like-
playing the trade.
but like Friday the 13th or like
Those were present.
yeah,
Those were taking place in 1980 something.
They're made up fictional like monsters.
Yeah,
those
sure.
those are different to me. Like if
I mean, not Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
no, that was a good movie though. So,
I don't watch.
I don't know. I just
No,
don't-
there's definitely like a weird, like, what is it, Venn diagram of like what falls into the middle and then goes
Yeah,
into its own and then comes.
It's just hard. I just prefer specific genres. I
Sure,
guess. So,
whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
I like a lot of shit. I just don't like the boring ass vanilla old lady shit. So
Yeah,
Okay.
the
I
everyday
don't-
life movies. Like,
yes.
Does your mom watch the Christmas ones that come on every year?
yes,
Yeah, mine does
all
too.
of them.
When she's cooking for like Christmas dinner and whatnot. That's
sure.
usually when Hallmark is usually on.
Well, I'm not a huge cook, but
Yeah. Okay. But what's your next movie, Ashton?
Oh, my next movie.
Yeah, we
Damn.
spent that whole time talking about what was the
That
movie
was
you mentioned?
Two Towers.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
we
Two
just
Towers.
went off of the Two Towers.
it's a hell of a
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess another movie that I liked. Oh wow, there's quite a few. I'm thinking. Ooh,
Bring up something I've seen, Ashton.
something you've seen. Have you seen Troy?
Yes, I have seen Troy
Oh.
a couple times.
Have you seen Troy?
I had.
This is out of Ryan's genre.
I
I know,
did.
it's
Yeah,
not-
I
it's
did
not
not
your
see
genre.
Troy, but I had Troy on HD DVD.
That's where you messed up.
We totally bet on the wrong horse on
yeah,
that one.
yeah.
We have it. I think we still have it. We don't have it in
What
our
Best Buy
library.
salesperson got you guys?
I don't know. I don't know who bought. I don't know why someone bought it, but I think it was. I don't even know why.
Okay,
I don't
I'll
know.
talk about a different one.
No, that's fine. Talk about
Troy?
Talk about Troy.
Okay.
It's your
So-
favorite movies.
Talk
Don't
about
give a shit
Battlefield,
about what
yeah.
I have to do.
No, I have a ton of movies that I can talk about.
That's fine.
So Troy, I believe, is starring Brad Pitt,
Yep.
and
I remember
he
he's on the
is-
cover. He's that blonde-haired,
Yep.
flowing in the wind,
Yeah.
with
and,
looking like this.
He's in his prime.
In his prime, in Troy, not Oceans, but
Nope.
Troy was the pinnacle of his career.
not his
Yes.
career, just his, like
That's
physical.
what he's saying.
Really?
As far as I'm concerned, that is the peak of his career.
Wow. Whoa.
It's not my type of movies usually.
I mean, I don't watch. Yeah, he's not in a lot
What
anymore.
was that
but-
tank movie he was in?
Oh, Fury?
Yeah, that was not bad.
That was pretty good.
Shia
Another
LaBeouf's
like
in that movie,
gory
too.
like World War II movie.
Yeah. Anyway.
But basically, this is
Is
talking
there
about-
boobies in this movie?
I don't remember.
It's taking place in like Roman times, right?
If so, it was
Oh, wait, it's
irrelevant.
Troy.
It's like
so-
yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so
No,
because
I think it's PG-13, isn't it?
yeah. Well,
You're losing
it's
interest.
pretty.
here.
It's pretty bloody.
I'm starting to turn it off. I'm turning
Because
off
no
the
boobies?
TV now. Yep.
Okay. Well, basically, Brad Pitt is Achilles, and you know how that story goes. You know, Achilles' heel. He just gets at the end. He
Ending is
gets
pretty predictable.
sliced
Oh,
in
okay.
the fucking ankle.
So his name's not Troy. Achilles Troy.
Nope, that's the name of the city, Ryan.
No
Yeah,
one's
it's
named
a-
Troy in the whole
no,
movie.
that's the city. It's the Battle of
Battle of Troy.
Battle of Troy.
Yeah.
So it's basically he is like this insane warrior, and he's like looked at as almost like a god for his skill. And I believe his backstory was that the enemy took his wife. Yeah, because I believe he used to be like on a farm or some shit, living a happy life for a little while. But then he got brought back into this war. I'm not entirely
I'm
sure.
having a hard time remembering the backstory.
Yeah, it's
also,
hard. to
Remember, this movie
backstory.
came out on HD DVD. It's been a hot
pretty clear,
minute.
Ryan.
But yeah, basically it was.
Buy
it
the
ended up
attachment for your Xbox 360.
it ended up being a one of those movies where after he goes, he was defeated by somebody who was essentially going to, it's one of those stories where it's like everybody is better than somebody else. There's always going to be someone better than you.
Okay.
So there was another guy that looked pretty much almost exactly like him, but way younger, that actually took him down.
Okay.
And it was
There
just
I
can
think he was
be
the
only
archer, right?
one.
Wasn't he
Mm.
like
No, he came out with like dual swords, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler.
Oh yeah, okay. But I just love it because it's one of those really action-packed medieval movies, and I love the medieval era a lot.
Okay.
So it's
Just to
pretty-
counter you,
pretty
Ryan.
sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. My next movie is Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Oh my god!
boy.
And I showed this movie to both you guys just relatively recently for the
Exactly
first
how I
time
expected
ever.
It to be.
It is. Yeah, I tried to describe it to you, but I felt like I couldn't do it justice.
No, you can't.
It's definitely.
No, you definitely did justice. 'cause
You laughed in the movie. Don't act like you didn't.
No, it was good, but you described it pretty accurately.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those goofy movies.
Oh, it's a
that you make
stupid
fun
comedy. No, it's not great, but it's great all at the same time. Like, it's a funny pile of shit. Let's just say that. It's
Yeah.
great, but it's not gonna have sustenance to it.
I haven't had to see so many scenes be copied and pasted in a movie ever.
Yeah, that's the joke. It's a satire movie about like Chinese kung fu movies, and the whole concept of it is this guy has like superimposed himself into these two movies and has cut them together to make this one movie, and then he dubs over it along with a couple other voice actors have dubbed over like the subtitles, so it's not actually so in order to continue the story through it. And oh man, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. But yeah, that's pretty much all. There's just funny moments in the movie, and I just really like it. I can't watch it too many times though.
No.
It definitely
It's not a
loses
movie.
its
Once
luster.
every 2 years.
Yeah, it's a pretty like once in a while kind of thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
what about you, Nate?
My third movie,
Yeah,
well, okay, I guess I've already passed. My
I don't
second.
even know what numbers we're on anymore.
This is my third. Man, I'm really tempted to go for a Star Wars movie,
Go for it.
but I'm gonna
hard to
go with
pick
the
which
first
one.
John Wick.
John Wick. Wow.
I
Okay.
did not see that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen John Wick.
I
Either.
it's just a badass film, and that's
I've
what
heard.
that's what I look for.
Definitely heard.
I look for a badass film that's got a good soundtrack, it's got lots of style, and it's got good action.
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of people love
It's
that
got Keanu
movie.
Reeves in it.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then I heard the second one's better than the first one, right? Or what would you say? Would you
That's
say?
what
I would
heard
give the
too.
first one a slight edge for the narrative, but the second one does have, I would say, better action in it.
Really?
Yep.
Hard to come by nowadays. Usually sequels do really bad at the box office.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this one's
sometimes.
doing better each and every time.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because now the third one's in.
Yeah, and they're bringing out the
Production,
big guns for
right?
that one.
Yeah.
And they got, I remember it's Holly Berry's in there.
Wow.
That's interesting.
A couple other big people I can't think of right now.
Hmm.
That should be coming out pretty soon because I know they wrap production on that.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
soon.
been like IGN and I think reported on it a while ago. I haven't
Yeah.
heard, but it's gone silent. I have no idea.
Yeah, because
it's
I would
in post.
assumed it would come out like early 2019.
Yeah, they'll probably release it like in the summer. Seems like
Yeah.
a summer type.
I mean, it's
of
probably a
movie.
big enough movie now where they probably could get away
Yeah.
within the summer blockbuster season.
All right, Ashton, we're back to you.
I'll go with another badass movie that I love. That I actually bought after I saw it in the theater. Hardcore Henry. You guys see
Never
that?
seen it.
Isn't
Isn't that the first person one?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
person one. I saw the trailers for it and never saw it though. It
Really?
intrigued me,
Same here.
but I never saw it.
I'll have to bring it over sometime for you guys
Okay.
to watch.
All right.
I got the Blu-ray. So yes.
Good
Very
soundtrack
nice.
in there.
Pretty decent. Yeah. Basically, it's a. I won't throw out any spoilers. Basically, it's a first-person perspective of this guy going through, and his mission is to save a girl, and I think it's all shot on like I don't know if it's like GoPros or what. I forget
Probably.
what it's shot.
I think it was all shot on GoPro.
Yeah, because I think it was something crazy like that. But it's just crazy the amount of. It actually almost looks.
Like
Think
a
of
video
like
game?
Yeah, think of like Call of Duty. You know how like you can see a gun or whatever in front of you on the screen at all times. It kind of reminds you of like being in a game, but it's actual like it's real, like in a movie. And it's just this guy just does not feel any pain or something because it's fucking insane the amount of shit he goes through. It's very creative on like the kills. You know, that's something I feel movies have lost, except for like recently, where they're getting a little bit more creative with how people are like dying. Like the movie we just saw today,
Very
fucking
graphic.
Overlord, very graphic, very interesting, creative ways people are dying, making it look really good. That was sparked back, in like 80s horror films. That was like the thing that was making the films was how people would die. But then you kind of lost that in the early 2000s, but now it's kind of, over the past couple of years, it's come back. And that's one of those movies that kind of brought more of the realism into account as well, and just still was able to make such a great action-packed film. It's non-stop action. It is
Oh wow.
you can't even catch your breath.
So is there a story in there then?
There is a story, but it's more about like getting from point A to B, and that's basically the entire movie is just doing that one mission.
So it
Yeah.
sounds like it's Black Ops 4. No story campaign. It's all action.
Yep.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean it's a little lackluster on the story, but the intention of the movie is to show off the camera work, I feel. But it's an interesting like little story. It's a little different. There are things that you pick up, but it's set more in the future, so it's pretty cool. I really enjoy it. I'll watch it. I've already watched it 3 times.
Oh
so
wow.
I'll watch it again with you guys.
All right. Well, I don't know if we'll have enough time to get back to me. So this one's like a twofer.
If you do, pick a Star Wars film.
Yeah. Well, I'll save it for you. I'll save Star Wars for you, I guess.
I already have 3.
You have 3. Wait, what? No,
3
we'll have
movies,
enough
no.
time to get to probably about back to Ashton. But anyway.
Okay.
So my twofer is the first one that I saw from this director. I always forget his name, and it's always I think it's a weird pronunciation of it. But Arrival was the first movie that I saw from him that I was like, whoa, that blew my mind. Like, have we all seen Arrival?
No.
Yeah.
Damn it,
Once.
Ashton. Never mind.
What is Arrival?
Yeah, it's a sci-fi movie. Not going into spoilers because it is so a tiptoe around movie that you cannot explain too much
It's
of
one of
it.
those movies that you have to like try to like figure out. as
Yeah,
you're watching
there's
It's like a
there's
mystery type
definitely
thing.
it's not as hit over the head as M. Night Shyamalan is with his twists, but there's something in the film that's really good. And it answers the age-long question of a specific thing that I don't even want to say because then it spoils the movie.
Okay.
But anyway, moving on from that one, he also directed Blade Runner 2049, which we had mentioned previous. In that movie was like
Excellent.
was even better than Arrival because of the cinematic shots, but it was that what do they call it? Cyberpunk is the theme.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, which is futuristic, so it's sci-fi
Love that.
still,
In your realm.
which is still in my realm. So you can see why I like. This is the reason why I really like how Peter Jackson did, Lord of the Rings, but it was just a little too much, like a little too much scenery. But where Blade Runner stepped in and made that a little bit different was he's kind of like how J.J. Abrams is for me, where those cinematic shots that he uses usually have this contrast of colors. Like in Blade Runner, there's the shot that I always like tell people is that one shot with Ryan Gosling like walking into frame and he's like all silhouette and there's that horizon. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Are you
It's like
talking
that
about when it's all
bluish orange. Yeah.
where
That shot is the most badass shot I've seen. Like in that movie is probably the coolest shot. Like just frame that's amazing.
Yeah,
like it is
especially in 4K.
Yeah, and that's how I watch it. So it's like it's so cool, and there's so many shots of like oranges and blues that happen, and like that cyberpunky feel that get you excited for that new CD Projekt Red game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's,
I can't wait for that game.
but yeah, I think Blade Runner, and then that also has something alongside that as well.
where
which
can I
don't-
watch? Where can I watch that Arrival movie?
You buy it.
I gotta buy it?
Just buy the damn movie.
I'm trying to think,
Shit.
is it free anywhere?
I don't know. I own it.
Maybe on Amazon
I bought that day one.
if you're a Prime member.
I
Yeah,
am Prime.
maybe it'd be on Prime. I don't know.
I'll check it out.
But it's
It's good but different.
yeah, you definitely got to like sit there and pay attention.
It's got Hawkeye.
It does have Hawkeye. It also
Really?
has
my guy.
Amy. What was it her name? Amy.
Lois Lane.
Yep. Sure. Yeah. All right.
That's how I know her.
All right. Nate, what do you got? Possibly your last one. So
Okay. I'm gonna go. So oddly, I think the best Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back,
okay. Okay.
Which
but I'm gonna
episode
say
is
Force
that?
Awakens.
Is that 5?
Emperor Strikes Back is
The 5.
Is 5.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Or the second one in the original trilogy.
Yeah. It goes A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think the one I can rewatch the most is probably used to be Revenge of the Sith for a long time, but I think the Force Awakens now.
Okay.
Is-
So the one you watch the most is Force Awakens, but the best one is Empire Strikes Back, which is number 5.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. I'm just trying to connect dots here. All right.
Yeah, the problem with the original trilogy is it's kind of dated
4, 5,
now.
and 6.
Yes.
I would love if they were to like remaster them.
I don't know if you
can't
can
remake too much of it though.
because we've tried. And
Yeah, that
it's
90s
shit.
one. When
It's- That's all we have is the remastered versions. And I
Right.
hate them.
yeah, they just put CGI in front of stuff.
Oh boy, it looks gross. Like especially watching A New Hope, and then that one shot where like that, like big lizard thing's walking around, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
no, that doesn't belong there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why it's really hard for me for old movies to be kind of like my favorite of all time.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
It's just they're not rewatchable.
yeah. But okay, so why is Empire Strikes Back one of your favorite? Is your favorite?
Empire Strikes Back or Force Awakens? But I mean, I guess we can go with Empire Strikes Back.
Well, you had said that one's your favorite, but Force Awakens is the most. So I was gonna start with Empire first,
Okay.
and then we'll go to. Let's just make this one like a little bit longer. We'll go in depth here.
okay, so we're gonna start Empire Strikes
Yeah,
Back.
Sure.
I mean, that one's just great throughout. I mean, so you start off on Hoth.
Yep.
That's just a great scene. I think just because of Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think
that's
there's
kinda
the
what
fact
makes-
that there's no explaining anymore. Like we're just they've got
It
it
was
all
full on
done.
Star Wars.
Now
yeah.
you already know what Star Wars is. Here
I
you
guess
go.
a little bit with Yoda because you're trying to figure out
Oh, yeah, sure.
who he is in that situation. Which also is another reason why it's a great film because it's kind of like Yoda and I guess you could say his peak of the, of the film.
His peak.
Of his film.
Sure,
arc.
the Frank Oz
Yeah.
puppeteer version of
Mhm.
himself. Yeah.
And then I think the Luke Darth Vader lightsaber scene at the end of that one is probably
The most
arguably
iconic.
the best
Yeah, it's definitely the most
lightsaber
iconic.
fight.
No, I am your father.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boba Fett's badass. Even though
Sure.
he just escorts Vader everywhere.
Sure.
All
we'll
he does
say he
is
is.
escort Vader.
Yeah.
People think he made it out of there. Just saying.
So wait,
I think he's pretty stuck in there.
I think the fact we're not getting a Boba Fett movie probably
Yeah, that's icing
rest
on
in
the cake
peace
there.
for
Yeah.
him, I guess.
Okay. Why is Force Awakens become now your most watched film?
It's just
Because it's definitely mine. I've seen that movie like 7 times.
yep.
Yeah.
It's just something about it because I think it's the new characters.
It's also J.J. Abrams directing.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah,
so.
there you go.
Ya boy.
Bad Robot Productions.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's just the most probably I guess inspiring of
Sure.
all of them. Just like
it makes
like,
sense.
Yep.
Like it's a flowing story.
Mm-hmm.
Like how a
there's just
J.J.
no
Abrams written
Jedi,
thing is. Yeah.
and then you just go from no Jedi to her kind of discovering the Force powers, and then you get the epic moment where she's able to kind of use the Force and grab the lightsaber all
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
back to her, right past Kylo Ren, which I thought was badass at the very end
Yeah.
with the kind of iconic music there.
Yeah, no, that's definitely probably my most watched one as well, and has slowly become. I know a lot of people don't agree with like the new trilogy like being the better one, and I don't think the new trilogy is the better one, just overall, because obviously the original is the better overall of 4, 5,
Writing
and 6.
wise, yes.
But the thing is I think what ruined 7 is 8. 8 ruined 7, like to me, in my
It
opinion.
does, depending on what 9 looks like. I
Yeah,
think.
and now JJ's back,
Yep.
so he can easily fix everything. Hopefully, God willing, JJ Abrams fix up the giant shitstorm that started in episode 8.
Because 7 set up like a lot of interesting stuff that looked like that.
Yeah,
they were
you
just gonna
get.
go with.
Yeah, have you watched 7 recently?
It's been a bit.
Okay, because there is so much stuff that makes like things so much cooler, and then 8 goes and shits on it. Like Snoke is this secretive, like
Yeah,
giant being.
you're trying to figure out who he
Kylo
is.
is like maybe really sneaky, like maybe he knows a little bit more than he actually does. There's like a hidden
Which is
past.
still possible.
And yeah, the Knights of Ren get introduced, but you don't ever see them in episode 8. And then like there's just, and Rey is like slowly trying to figure out her past and like why she's where she is.
You thought Captain Phasma might be more.
Yeah,
badass,
Phasma
too.
might be cool, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden she gets punked out not once but twice. But at least in episode 7, like she just gets thrown down a trash, supposedly down
Yeah.
a trash compactor, and she gets found probably. And then in 8, she just gets punked out. But
At least she actually kind of like fights in 8 a little bit, but
yeah, but then she
Still
falls.
thought she was gonna be more badass.
She just falls into like a pit of fire.
yeah.
There's a very hard
She ended up
explanation
being a
that's going to have to
disappointment, I
happen.
think.
If she doesn't come back and look like all scarred and whatnot, that's the only way she can come back.
Yeah.
And it explains why she has to wear the helmet.
They'll probably have to do some type of prequel for her, maybe.
I don't know. I know she's a
they
big
will.
giant draw at Disneyland though,
Oh yeah.
because
Very cool looking character. She's just like Boba Fett, really.
yeah, but she actually does something, and that's just a giant waste of space in a corner.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have had a Bosk thing. He would have been even like it's just a giant. Isn't Bosk the lizard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's as cool as Boba Fett is in standing in that line.
Yeah.
But
Boba Fett
we-
looks cooler.
Yeah, Boba Fett looks
Sure, but like it's a giant lizard. Like where else do you see that?
It's too on the nose.
Sure, okay. It's sci-fi.
Yep.
Okay, but you don't like the original trilogy. I mean, not original. The prequels.
I do like the prequels.
Okay.
Mainly only.
By the way, we were
Revenge of
all
the Sith,
born in
though.
like 1995. Just so you
Yeah.
all know.
Yeah.
So.
Especially when you're kids, the prequels are actually seem like they're really good at the time.
Yeah, 1 is tolerable. 2 is way drug on, and
Yeah.
nothing happens until the last like 20 minutes of the damn movie.
Yep.
And then 3 is like, oh, they actually figured it out, but we won't be having a Star Wars movie for the next
My
like
dad
20
loves
years.
3.
Yeah,
like
no,
one of his
3 is
favorite movies
good.
of all time. He just
Yeah.
loves dark stuff. So he just loves where Anakin
Okay.
goes and he like kills the younglings.
Yeah.
That makes the whole movie fun.
Yeah, kill those fucking kids.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Yep, he loves it.
Oh man,
All right.
that's pretty crazy. Anakin used to be my favorite, but then he did that.
He's
so.
still a really cool character, especially like in the Clone Wars animated series.
Everybody did complain about how he was a whiny bitch, but I didn't really pay attention to that as a kid.
Mm.
What I
does
don't like
come
is
off that way in
Kylo.
the
I
second
fucking
movie.
hate Kylo. You can suck a dick.
Why? He's such a
He's-
complex character.
He's
Ashton.
a whiner. He's such a
No,
pussy.
he
gets
now-
has
beat-
emotions.
He
He
gets his
doesn't
ass
have
beat by a little girl with like no fighting experience.
Well,
Why does it make a
we
difference
don't.
that she's a girl?
We don't
Ashton?
know that. We don't know that she doesn't know anything.
See,
She
but
has
We
she-
no
don't
fighting
know that.
experience.
She's the only light side force user.
Yeah.
So by force law, she has extra force powers. Is how I've heard it explained.
Bam.
What?
Lawyered. It
I
takes
will have to
a
research that.
longer thing to become a Jedi than and it's easier to recede into the Sith.
Yeah, but
That's true fact.
they talk about how he's been in it, like
But he's
the
been
thick of it.
untaught. He's been untaught and from being the Sith, but he's also been taught as a Jedi. And the thing is like he also feeds on hate and he's frustrated because his family has abandoned him. So to me, sure, is he a little snarly sometimes? Yes, but he needs to be because he needs to be angry. He just needs
Right.
to be angry. Now the whole emo Kylo, that Twitter handle was pretty hilarious, but like Episode 8, that's another situation where Episode 8 could have capitalized on why he should be a badass because he's a part of the Knights of Ren, and then didn't explain it.
I guess what they need is like maybe the episode 9. They need to show like him just killing a whole bunch of fucking people, like just to regain
yeah,
his
because
badass status.
there's no reasoning on why he is evil. Because all we've seen him do
It's just
is
the fact
kill
that Luke
Han.
betrayed him
yeah, he's
in
just
his mind.
clouded because
Yeah.
Luke made him a fucking mistake because he's a moron.
Who,
I hate
Luke
Luke.
is a more.
I fucking hate Luke.
Oh my god! Like I don't
He's
even
such
know
a
what you're saying.
goody little shit, and I hate him.
That's why I actually like his portrayal. That he's actually a little bit darker.
He's
in
way
episode
better. He's
8.
way better in the new trilogy.
I actually think
Not
so.
in Episode 8.
I
Not
think
in,
so.
No, okay.
I know
no.
I'm in the minority on that.
in
though.
in the last parts of the original
No.
trilogy, he became his own. Like, but in the beginning, why do you say he's a goody two shoes?
Dude,
He's as much of a snarly little prick as much as
do you
Kylo
hear
is.
his fucking lines in the prequels?
In the prequels, he's not in the
Yeah.
prequels.
No, the not the prequels.
4,
Sorry,
5,
I know
4,
what you're
5, and
talking
6.
about.
That's what I meant.
The original.
Yes, the originals.
You okay?
He's such a goody two shoes.
I think it probably.
When was the last time you saw Star Wars?
That trilogy?
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Okay.
I think it
You
was
need to
his
rewatch
look
them.
I
is
also
part
play
of
the
it.
games
You
a
need
lot.
to
and I
rewatch
use a
them.
lot of
You
lines
need to
from the
rewatch them.
movies.
You need to rewatch them.
Okay, I'm
Because he
just
does
saying.
get angry and stuff.
He gets angry
He does
because he's
kind of-
trying to still balance the Force.
He does flirt with the dark side sometimes.
Because
yeah.
Luke almost is becoming gray. Like he's not even like fully because he doesn't get taught full by Yoda yet. Like he didn't get his full training from Yoda, right?
So
he
correct,
can't-
because he went back to finish it, but then Yoda was like, "Peace out." and
Yeah,
he
he's
died.
like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So like he can't become a Jedi, right? Because he didn't complete his training.
Well, he got
or
like
is he?
the Jedi tax, I guess, or whatever.
Oh
but,
yeah, late after. That's after though. That's in the
Right.
comics.
But he also wears like a little Sith Jedi crystal on his neck, so he's
What?
definitely he flirts with both.
So yeah, he's definitely probably leaning towards gray as
Yep.
opposed to an actual full Force user like Jedi.
Right.
Which seems to be where they're kind of going, where like the new Jedi are just going to be gray Jedi, and they're not because they
They're not
always
goody
keep
goody like the Jedi.
yeah, because the
Council.
way that
Yeah.
Luke keeps talking about it is the balance. You have to have the balance of it.
Right.
Well, like sure, Yoda mentions that in the prequels, but like
Which is funny because
they were always trying to lean way away from the Sith. Like that was their whole thing that they were talking about in the original.
Well, like technically in like the universe, Luke is like the most powerful in the universe. Is what like if you go into like the stuff that's not canon, like all the comics and stuff, he becomes like the most.
Well, that doesn't matter anymore.
I think he came off pretty powerful in 8. Being able
sure,
to project himself.
No, that's new.
Yeah.
That's definitely new. I didn't see Qui-Gon doing that shit.
No,
like,
no.
I didn't see Obi-Wan do it.
That was cool, but I wish he was more so like there instead of astral.
It would have been better if he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think what we got was cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even though, granted, everybody's been beating Kylo, so I guess it's not that impressive that he beat Kylo as a hologram.
Yeah. Because he was using anger.
Kylo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used anger and he was just frustrated.
Right.
I definitely think there's more to Kylo. My dad also agrees the fact that he's not that great of a character either. But it's just like...
He's a good character, bad guy.
Yeah. I think there's just... It's because it was part of the thing of like, oh, Anakin is just a really bad Jedi. Like, he's just... then he becomes Darth Vader. Because okay, sure, he kills a lot of people after his body count starts adding up, but he was fed that situation. He just was becoming a really bad Jedi, and then until like Palpatine started feeding him that bad information, that fake news.
Basically, Obi-Wan's just fucking up.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah.
When it all comes down
too.
to it, it's Obi-Wan's fault.
Yep.
I don't know.
He needs to atone.
Yeah,
I love Obi-Wan though.
yeah.
His
He's a
character's
good character. He's actually the goody tissue character.
He is
no.
by far the goodiest of the two.
Yeah.
No,
ships.
he's just a good soldier.
What?
No, he always
Have
follows
you
the rule
seen the original?
Like you need to follow like the Force. You need to do like all this shit. Like he's following like what the Jedi Council would want.
Right.
Which,
He follows orders.
following the Jedi Council is
talking-
not the best of options.
I'm talking
though.
more like the reason I don't like Luke is because of his demeanor. I just don't like
So
him.
you don't like it when the character tries to figure things out themselves.
I don't like
That's exactly because you hate Luke, you hate Kylo, and you probably hate Rey.
I don't hate Rey. I just don't really I still don't know who the fuck she is.
That's the point.
She's a big fat nobody at this point.
So that's the only reason I don't like her is because I don't know who the fuck
But
she is.
I also feel JJ will not let that happen because he set that up really damn well for Rian Johnson to come out here and tee it off a good line drive. But and then just made her a big fat nobody.
That's exactly how Ryan wanted it.
I know.
And that's why he ended it
stupid
with the
as
little
shit.
kids at the end.
I hope JJ comes back and just goes, yeah, it's just because Kylo couldn't read directly. He was getting fed bad information. Like
Or
she was blocking
He was
it.
trying to mislead her.
Yeah,
into-
exactly. Yeah. You know.
To
You
being
know
the
who
second
you are.
Sith to him.
You're nobody.
Assuming
You don't
Sith.
belong in the story or whatever stupid
Yeah.
line he delivers. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. But yeah, I feel like Kylo has a darker past than we're led on to be. And if we don't get Knights of Ren, I'm very disappointed.
Knights of Ren would be cool.
I'm
that
sure we'll
was-
get him in some form.
But
Maybe the TV series.
I don't know. The only gripe I have,
Disney Plus.
the only reason I don't like Episode 7 is I don't see. For me, I've always seen like Star Wars as kind of more on the serious side. Besides their meme of like mistakes happening during like filmmaking, where like the stormtrooper bumps his head up on that structure, and they redo that in the 7th. But I feel like Finn had too much comic relief for my taste, at least. He was.
Too much comedy relief from BB-8 and Finn for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we can go into more depth of Star Wars in a later episode. But that's it. We've talked about it for an hour. I have to cut it off at a point, and we literally have like a minute and a half to do the outro. So, as much as I would like to keep talking about Star Wars and more movies, we might have to make a part 2. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you definitely hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you are on an audio version of this on iTunes or Podbean for Android listeners, you guys can head over to YouTube and you can comment section is open for you and you can suggest us topics. So just go to an episode of PT3600, comment a topic that you guys want us to talk about, and we will talk about it. Nate, thank you for joining us on this episode.
You'll never see me again.
No, we scared him off.
Yeah.
Popped his
Did
cherry,
you
he's never
enjoy? Did
come
you
back.
enjoy your time? A
it
little
was
bit?
all right.
Yeah, you like talking
Yep.
about movies. Felt like that was a good topic for you. And
John Wick's a
Ashton.
badass.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you say Jawas are badass?
They are too. Yes.
Yeah.
What did you say?
John Wick.
Oh, okay.
Jawas are badass. Tusken Raider versus Jawas.
And Ashton,
Jawa.
you're on here all the time, so
Yep.
we'll see more of you later.
I'll see you next time.
And that'll be it. My name is Ryan. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
All the power to all the people.
Yeah.